Hi guys, and welcome back to my video. It's been a minute, so just wanted to give you guys a little update. It's been a little over a year since I've uploaded a video and almost 3 years since I've told you what's going on in my life, unless of course you're a part of my vlog channel, which I upload there more frequently. And you guys can go look and see what has happened in the last 3 years. But today I wanted to give you guys an update because I've honestly missed filming these videos. And I want to get back into it on a more regular basis, especially the winter months coming up. And I now live by myself in a different state where I don't really know a whole lot of people. So in order to pass the time, I've been getting back into YouTube and back into filming and doing photography type stuff. So wanted to come on here and give you guys kind of an update of where I've been, what my life has been, and all that good stuff. And just to tell you guys, if you can't hear me very well, it is because the microphone, it's a Takstar microphone that I typically use to film this video or film videos on this channel, is now corroded, which I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see if I can. Do you see all that corrosion in there? It has been so long since I have uploaded a video that now my microphone is corroded. So I don't know how or if I can fix that, but we're going to try and do that sometime this week. Otherwise, I guess I will be using the stock audio on this camera until I get me a new microphone. So if you guys can't hear me very well or are wondering why my audio has changed, that is why. But without getting too much into it, I want to go ahead and get started. I made a list of kind of where I've left off in my storyline of my life. The last time I uploaded a video was, I believe it was filmed in July of 2021. But the video actually got posted in February of 2022. But that video only updated you guys to the beginning of 2021. So 2021, 2022, and now almost all the way through 2023. I wanted to give you guys some updates of what my life has been. Hopefully it won't be too long. I'm going to try and just hit the highlighted points, which I have narrowed it down to basically the highlights of my life. Obviously there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be missed over this, a lot of fine details and little stuff, but this is just the big updates. So without making this video too long, I want to go ahead and get right into it. So in my last video I was talking about how I now live into a new place, which I lived there for almost a year and a half before moving out. So I moved in, I moved out from my parents on my birthday of 2021. I got the keys the following day on January 29th, 2021, and I started moving the beginning of February, and by February 9th I think was my first day actually in my home. And a lot of things have changed since then, but I did move out right around my birthday that year. And like I said, stayed there, got all my stuff moved in February, and then that was my first place I've ever had on my own. So I loved it. I was enjoying it, and I actually had a friend that came and helped me move that I ended up getting into a relationship with, and it was a same-sex relationship. I kind of mentioned it a little bit in my last video. We are no longer together, but I will get into that and we'll talk about that. But there for a while, she helped me move into my place and was helping me with a lot of stuff. And we just developed a relationship from that. And I considered myself bisexual at that point. And we had a great relationship for the first couple of months. We started dating in February of 2021 and we had a great relationship. I had just kind of switched jobs and then tried to switch back, and so I was actually on unemployment at that time because when I switched back my position was no longer held for me, but I was still technically through the company like hired through them. So they just basically had me draw unemployment temporarily as a layoff. So I was still drawing unemployment and still employed at that point. And then, so through that whole summer of 2021, we were out doing things. I was making money. She had her money. And me, her, and her daughter were out doing all kinds of fun things, which you can, like I said, you can go back on my vlog channel and go look at all the fun things that we did. We were kayaking and swimming and going different places and camping and all kinds of fun stuff. And like I said, it was really great for the first couple months. But then around October, November, we started having problems. We were both raised Christian, and I'm not trying to say this to offend anybody that is gay or bisexual or anything like that, but we were both, in our own personal hearts, we were struggling with being in a same-sex relationship at that time. And again, I'm not saying it's wrong or right. That's up to you. I don't care what you do. But personally, for us, it was something we were struggling with, being Christians. And so we ended up breaking up in November of 2021. And we're still really good friends. I still love her to death. They still come see me and hang out with me when they can. But obviously, we were both struggling with it. And it was just a mutual breakup. And decided that we were going to break up for it. And again, I don't want to go into like any controversial stuff about it. I don't care what you do. I've been there. I've done it myself. I loved being in a same-sex relationship, but we were both feeling very convicted about it. And that was just for us personally. I'm not saying you should feel convicted or you should not feel convicted or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I've personally experienced. And so after I got out of that relationship, I started getting very, very involved in the church, which I've been involved in church my whole life. But there for a couple years, it was kind of like, I'll be involved for a couple years and then I'll leave for a couple years and back and forth. So after I got out of that relationship, I fell really deep into the Word, and I was attending a church where I eventually got to be on the worship team for, and I just dedicated my life to Christ and to that particular church at that time. Not saying, again, you have to go to church to be a Christian, not trying to get into any controversial stuff like that, because you don't, but just for me, that's personally what I was doing, is I was very involved in it, and I loved it, and it just felt right at that time. So I fell very much into the church and was very adamant about going and doing my due diligence and working for the Lord and doing the Lord's work. And so that's how that ended up happening. And then that was in November. In December of that year of 2021, my pastor ended up buying an old elementary school that we were going to then turn into our, it was going to be a church and then a school and then a lot of other things that have happened in the last 2 years since then. But we originally bought it to have an outreach center because we don't consider our church a church. It is Redeeming Grace Outreach Worship Center. And so we do outreach. We had a homeless shelter there. We did a clothing closet there. We did a food pantry there. We also had our ministry there and did church and like Bible studies and all that kind of stuff there. So in December of 2021, we bought a new facility, which was an elementary school in a lot bigger building than what we had previously. So we spent the last couple months, the first month of 2021 renovating and getting everything prepared in our new facility. We did a lot of painting. It was a lot of putting tile down and flooring and just all this stuff that we did. And it took us months to do. So like the entire beginning of 2022, that's what I was doing. I had worked part-time at my job because at this point I had gotten my job back at this retail store that I was working for, and I was working part-time there, and I was also helping at the church a whole lot. I developed a really close family and a really close group of friends there, and we just bonded over like 4 or 5 months of renovating this place. So we bought it in December of 2021, and we opened it officially on Easter Sunday in April of 2022. So for those in between times, it was a lot of just working at the church, renovating, running places, getting supplies, all that good stuff. So we officially opened the church on Easter Sunday, and then at that point I had become like a helper in the youth ministry as well. I was helping do a worship team and playing music for the church, but I was also going upstairs and helping the kids learn about Jesus, pretty much. And I did that for several months, honestly. I started, like I said, on Easter Sunday in April, and then I continued to do it pretty much all summer. And then some things happened in my life, and one of the girls at the church told me that she thought I needed to move. And I did. I was feeling called to move for a long time, and she just confirmed it for me. And so I ended up moving to Virginia, which is where I'm at now, in July 1st of 2022, and she gave me an awesome opportunity to stay with her and to live at her house for a while until I got on my feet over here. It's only about an hour away from where I originally am from, so it's not like it's super far away. I didn't move, like, I moved states away, but I didn't move like distance-wise that far away. So I moved over to Virginia, and I live, like I said, about an hour from my family and that sort of stuff. And at that time, that was what I wanted. I wanted kind of away from the small town living and away from some of my family drama that I had going on at that time, and some other like friendship, relationship stuff. I wasn't in a relationship, but there was some previous stuff from my previous relationship that was carrying over into my home life, and I needed a fresh start, and I needed to get away. So I came over here, and I moved in with a friend of ours from the church and her husband and her 2 boys, who have now become like brothers to me. So I moved in with them on July 1st, 2022, and for the first time ever since I've turned 18, I didn't have a job at the time, and I didn't have an income. Luckily, I had saved some money before I moved. But I basically just put everything in a storage unit and moved over here, and I started looking for jobs and started getting on my feet that way. And on August 1st, I started my job. So exactly 1 month later, I officially started my first day at my job that I'm still at currently. I am working as a receptionist at a doctor's office, and I love it so much. It's a typical like 9 to 5 job. I'm usually home in the evenings before 5 o'clock because our office is technically open 8 to 4. So like it's a typical Monday through Friday 9 to 5 type job, and I love it so much, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, and my coworkers are the best. So like I said, I moved over here a month later. I got a job like a month to the day. Like, it was so crazy to me. But at that point, I had started working, and I kind of fell off from the church a little while after that. I was still going consistently for a couple months after I started my job, but then I slowly just was focusing more on working, and I was now working a full-time job. A 9 to 5, and I was an hour away from the church that I had previously been going to. And the church member that I lived with actually lived here and was traveling back and forth, but she was working PRN as a nurse at that time, so she didn't work as many hours as I did. So for me, it was just hard to get back and forth. So like I said, I tried to be consistent with it for as long as possible, and I did for quite a few months after I started my job. But after a couple months of going back and forth every Wednesday and Sunday, after working a full-time job, a full 40 hours, 5 days a week, it just got exhausting for me. So I backed off on it a little bit. I was still going like every now and then when I could, and I still go every now and then. when I can. I still love that church. That's where my home is. It just got really hard because I was just trying to focus on me and focus on saving money. And honestly, I don't regret it because I was just really focused on building a life for myself here in Virginia and, you know, saving money and trying to be very smart with my money because it's very expensive to move like this. Like, it took me about $4 grand just to move, which we won't talk about that. But I was just focused on building my new life, and I kind of, not that I gave up on God at all, because I still very much am reading my Bible and reading the Word and going to churches and groups, like Bible study groups and women's groups and that kind of stuff, and I'm still very dedicated to my faith, but I kind of fell off of the church going as much as I did at that time, and just focused on saving money and getting myself a place. And so that's what I did for several months while still living with this person that was going to the church all the time. So like, I had been updated on what's going on at the church. I haven't forgot about it. Still pop in every now and then. But in January of this year of 2023, again, on my birthday, you guys, I can't make this up if I tried. So the first time I ever got my place would have been in January of 2021, which would have been my 26th birthday. So that was the first time I moved out on my own ever, like ever. I had always lived with my parents or been in college dorms. So that was the first time I had ever moved out. And then 2 years later, I got my very first place on my own. No help from anybody, like financially. Obviously, I was living with somebody. So in a way, I guess they kind of did financially help me because I was living there rent-free. Of course, I was helping with what I could, food-wise and drink-wise and that sort of stuff, like toiletries and stuff for the house. But as far as like a set amount every month, I was not paying anything, which I don't know how anybody could afford to pay for another person the way the world is. So I'm so grateful for that opportunity, and I love, love, love those wonderful people that let me have that opportunity. And if you ever watch this video, I don't know if you guys watch my videos or not. Hi, if you do. And I just want you guys to know how thankful I am for the opportunity. Even though I was a little brat at times and complained and had a lot of trauma responses in that point in time. But I am so thankful for you guys, and I love you, and you will forever be family no matter what. And I just love you guys. So that out of the way, in January of 2023, this past year, just a couple months ago, I got my very first place ever on my own in a different state. So literally on my birthday, I moved. My entire birthday weekend, I was moving. So I took off the day before my birthday, which is January 27th. We got the U-Haul. I moved a couple things to my new apartment. That's when I got the keys and got everything good to go. I came and we like unloaded a lot of stuff that had not been, or that was at my friend's house that I was staying with. We moved my stuff from her house to my new apartment that I'm in right now filming in. So we moved like that stuff because there wasn't that much. So they have a trailer that they helped move that stuff because that was the first day I got the keys, was the day before my birthday. So we moved all my stuff from her house. I stayed the night at my house for the very first time and woke up on my actual birthday, which is January 28th, in my new apartment. And then I went and met them. We got the U-Haul that day, and we moved everything from my storage unit in West Virginia over here. I'm so grateful again that they helped me move and pack stuff up and take everything out of the storage unit, and actually drove the U-Haul. I didn't actually drive the U-Haul at all because I don't know that I could drive it over a mountain from where we were, where my stuff was, to here in Virginia. I probably would not have been able to do it without them. So again, I'm super thankful for them. They should know that by now. But again, I just love you guys if you ever watch this, and I'm so thankful for you. But so yeah, so the last couple months, that's basically all the major updates. The last couple months have been me moving into my place in January, and then this year I've just been decorating and rearranging, and my coworkers gave me a little bit more furniture. I still don't have like a couch. I have the same love seat that I had before when I was at my old place, and I have like a kitchen table now, which I didn't have at my old place, that one of my coworkers gave me, and I've got 2 end tables, and this coffee table right here was in my old place as well. But as you can see, I did get a new TV stand. You guys can look back there, that my mom got me for my birthday when I moved in. And just like this apartment is just so nice. It's a 2-bedroom. It has a washer and dryer, a big kitchen, big rooms. Like, this whole apartment is probably like twice the size of my old trailer. So it's just like an upgrade altogether. I am in such a good place now. Again, I've been popping in and out of the church. I still love them. Still talk to pretty much everybody there. And I love being here. The area I'm at in Virginia is just such a friendly, opening community. Like, they have a par 3 and a mini golf here that we get in for free if we're residents of this city. And a couple other things that you get in for free, like they have an ice skating rink in the wintertime that you get in for free just for being a resident. Like, they have multiple like beautiful parks. If you guys go over to my vlog channel, you'll see some of the parks and stuff that I've been doing. Just like, it's super safe for somebody who is in their late 20s to be living alone in. Like, it's super kid friendly, super like women friendly. Like, there's not really a whole lot of crime or anything over here. And then if there is crime, the people that I lived with before are only about 15 minutes away tops. And I'm about 10 minutes away from my job and to a bigger like college town city. So it's like the happy medium. It's in between like super country and super city. Like, it's just kind of in between, and it's just the best of both worlds for me because I'm very much an outdoorsy person. I love being outdoors and doing hikes and swimming and lakes and camping and going to different places like that. And there are those over here, but I'm also like 5 minutes away from the city, to where I can, or like the city. It's not like a super huge city, but it is a college town city, so there is a lot to do here. And I just love it, and I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for the world. My coworkers have become some of my best friends. And other than that, like, I don't really have a lot of friends over here. I don't really talk to anybody. Haven't been out and about a whole lot to meet people, to be completely honest. But it's just like a super different environment, and it got me away from some very traumatizing things that I was going through at that time. Like, a cardinal just flew by my window, just so you know. That was probably my granddaddy, because we always say he's a cardinal. It just was very therapeutic to come over here and get away from the small town living and the small town drama that I've been in my whole life. And it's just super nice, and I love my apartment. As you guys can see, this is my living room. I'm gonna like move my camera a little bit and show you guys a little bit of my apartment, just a sneak peek. There will be a video coming before too long, but like, if we go, so this is my living room. It's very messy right now as well, so I hope you guys don't mind. And then over there is my kitchen, and then if you go back this hallway over here, you'll be able to see it. Let me look. So like back here, there's a hallway that goes to the bedrooms. So yeah, that's my quick apartment tour. And I've got a beautiful view, and I very much love where I'm at right now. And I'm such in a good place, not only financially and like physically by like location wise, but also like mentally. I'm in such a good place. Like, I have such a good job. I have such a good apartment, and like overall living. Like, I have pretty decent friends, even though I don't have many friends. I know any of my coworkers would be there for me in a heartbeat if I need them to. So it's just, I'm in such a good place compared to where I once was, and I love it, and I want to share it with you guys, and that's why I want to come back onto YouTube and make videos of like cleaning my apartment and decorating for fall and doing all those lifestyle videos that I used to do before, but in my own place. So I will be back making videos soon, hopefully. I don't have a lot of time on my hands because I'm working full time, and this summer has been crazy with like vacations and like doing stuff and making the most of my life. Again, you guys can go to my vlog channel, look that up, and see everything that I've been doing. I'm actually going to a concert tonight, so I'll be busy tonight too. But I'm going to try to do the best I can in making new videos, at least maybe once a week or every other week. Just giving you guys an update on what I'm doing, and I'm getting ready to run out of memory on my card. So I love you guys. Go check out my vlog channel. I'll have it linked down below. If you haven't yet, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see, or if you have any other questions for me about what's been going on in my life. And camera cut me off, but go like, subscribe, do all those good things down below. Comment, let me know what you want to see, or if you have any questions for me. And I'll be uploading some fall videos here soon, hopefully, once I have a chance to actually decorate and clean my house. Again, just let me know what you guys want to see. I'm rambling at this point. Comment, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Give me the most random word in the comments. Make up a word for me in the comments and let me know what word it is. And if you don't want to do that, then leave me a comment or an idea of a video that you want to see, or a question that you have for me. And that's it. I love you guys, and I will see you soon.